Hey everybody, today we are going to be doing obviously a coconut based recipe. Now I obviously, being from Goa and India, love everything to do with coconuts. If I can like get a coconut tree tattoo also, I'll be very happy. That's how much I love coconuts and I'm pretty scared of getting a tattoo, okay? So today's recipe is a coconut panna cotta, and this is inspired by one of our favorite restaurants in Goa called Burmese, and we hope to have done it some justice with our recipe. So the coconut panna cotta is extremely easy, and we're going to get started right away because most of the work actually happens in the fridge where it's just going to cool and set, and then I can just continue drinking my coconut water. Okay, so to start you need, well, coconut milk obviously, and we're going to sweeten this very lightly with maple syrup. If you don't have maple syrup, you can go ahead and use honey, it works just as well, or you can put in some sugar if you prefer. Okay, so over here is my coconut milk. Now I'm going to split this in half and put half of it in a saucepan. Now to the saucepan we are going to start adding our gelatin. Alright, and what we're going to use is powdered gelatin because it's the easiest one for most people to find in all supermarkets, and all you're going to do is just sprinkle it onto your coconut milk which is in the saucepan. Alright, just to the top so it gets all wrinkly, and after it gets wrinkly, the surface of the coconut milk, we are going to boil it and dissolve the gelatin. This recipe is such a refreshing recipe. I also wrote it for an article in the newspaper over here in Dubai, and it takes hardly any time to do it. Okay, just going to leave this over here for 5 minutes. So you're waiting for the 5 minutes so that your gelatin on top of the coconut milk is going to start to bloom, okay? And that's what the wrinkling is. It's just starting to bloom like a little flower. The best part about this coconut panna cotta is that it's covered with a lovely passion fruit coulis on top, and it is so delicious. I don't even think you can call it a coulis. It's better than a coulis, okay? It's just such a wonderfully refreshing dish, like I was saying. And the best part is it doesn't take that long to make. You can do this the night before a dinner party, or you need about a minimum of 4 to 5 hours for your gelatin to set. So time yourself accordingly. In the meantime, what you're going to do is, with a cotton pad and not with a little tiny piece of tissue, you're going to get your ramekins ready. All right, I'm just going to do half the recipe for the show now, so I'm just getting 3 ready, but the recipe that I will put down in the description box below will be a recipe for 6. Please buy good coconut milk, all right? Coconut milk that you like the way it tastes, because this is pretty much all about the coconut milk. So as you can see, in about 5 minutes it's all getting wrinkly, the surface of the coconut milk, and that's the gelatin. And we are almost ready, just a few more seconds to go. So now that my gelatin has bloomed, it is time for us to put it on the stove. I would actually recommend that you use one of the back burners which are smaller, because it's going to overheat very quickly otherwise. So I'm just doing this now for the show, and I've put it on a very low flame, and we're just going to start to whisk and heat the coconut milk very gently. It's a really simple recipe. It's also one of my favorite recipes to make in the middle of the week when we're going to have guests, and also if we're just craving something not too sweet but extremely refreshing and sort of summery and paradisey to eat. Should have named it the Paradiso Panna Cotta. Should have named it the Paradiso Panna Cotta. It's a good name. When you taste this, you're going to have the flavors of obviously coconut. Then you will have the lovely sweetness of the maple syrup, which is not too sweet and works really surprisingly well with the coconut. I mean, they come from like opposite sides of the planet, but they taste so good together. And also you're going to have the lovely passion fruit, which is just so sharp against the fattiness of the coconut milk, so to speak. And also it's covered in so much of lime zest. It's poppy and wonderful and summery. Next, I'm going to add in my maple syrup. Okay, there we go. And I'm also going to add in a tiny pinch of salt. I always add salt to all of my desserts. It just makes the sweetness more balanced and somehow works better on the palate. So just whisk. Okay, once you think everything has dissolved and everything is ready, we are going to start pouring it into our little pouring jug where the other half of the coconut milk is, and that way it's going to cool down as well once we mix it all together. Okay, you're going to get a fine sieve. So I have no lumps of gelatin, which I'm very happy about. Now these are smaller ramekins than I would normally use. This is normally the size that I would use. Alright, so I may get 3.5 over here. So like I said, if you're going to use the normal size ramekins, this is the size that I'm talking about. You will get about 6 of these in the recipe below. Right, but I want to use the small fancy little cappuccino cups because I feel like it today, and they're just going to be cute and adorable. So now I am going to set these into the fridge for a total of 4 hours. Alright, and then I'm going to check them. They should be ready in 4 hours. It takes about 4 hours for the gelatin to set. So I will see you guys tomorrow in the morning because it's going to be too late to shoot later on. So it's the next day. Our panna cottas are all set, and now I'm going to show you how to make the passion fruit coulis, puree, or just passion fruit stuff that goes on top of the panna cotta. Okay, you need this for the coconut panna cotta because without this, it's going to be super rich and super coconutty. So you need something to kind of cut through that and give your palate something else to focus on. So to do this, what you simply need is about 1 passion fruit per serving. All right, and you just get your knife and cut it in half. Now if you're not very fond of the passion fruit seeds, like some people don't like them that much, you can sieve it through, but you will need more than 1 passion fruit per serving. Say about 1.5 per serving. That should be perfect. Okay, so just get all of it out. Okay, let's get the other. There, that is what a good passion fruit looks like. I love tropical desserts like this. It makes me think of being on holiday. And everyone could really use a holiday at this point. Once you get all of the passion fruit pulp out, we're going to add the only sweetener that we're going to use for this, and that's maple syrup again. And if you're using the honey, that's what you will add at this point. And you do need sugar or honey or maple syrup to sweeten this because otherwise it is very sharp against the coconut. So this is just to kind of sweeten it and temper it down for every palate. So because I'm doing half the version of the recipe, I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of really good maple syrup. And now just give it a slight mix, and I'm going to heat this on the stove ever so gently for just maybe 5 minutes. All right, but definitely under 5 minutes. You do not go over that because then you're going to get the seeds all super hard. So the whole point of cooking down the passion fruit like this is to, number 1, take off the bite so it's not super sharp, and to get the maple syrup to mingle with it better. Also this way it's going to get slightly thicker and you're going to have a nicer coating consistency once you put it onto your coconut panna cotta. Remember to keep stirring because you don't want it to start sticking at the bottom because it does have the maple syrup in it. See, it smells so good, by the way. Kind of smells like jam. Like if you put this on maybe a piece of bread with some really lovely salted butter, it would be amazing. So once you make your passion fruit coulis, set it aside in a different container to cool. You can make the whole thing in advance and set it in the fridge as well the night before with the panna cottas, and then just spoon it over. All right. So now to get started, here we have our little panna cottas, which are all nice and set. Look. Completely set. All right, so like we usually do, I have a pot of warm water over here, and I'm just going to put this in only halfway. Do not submerge your panna cotta. I will not be held responsible if your panna cotta is covered in water. Okay, the whole point of doing this is to get the panna cotta to slightly melt on the side so it's easier for you to take it out. Make sure to wipe the bottom, otherwise you're going to drip water onto your panna cotta serving plates. Oof. So just with a palette knife, release the edges. Okay. Takes a few times. It turned over, but no worry, just put it back there. Okay, that's it. Okay, so once your panna cotta is out, time to spoon some of the coulis over. Okay, and if you do this at the table, it just looks so beautiful and so dramatic. Look at that. So about a tablespoon per serving. Okay, then you need your microplane grater. Very important to any kitchen. And you need a lime. Okay, this lime is going to help the entire thing sing somehow, because that's just what citrus does, right? So just grate some. Look at that. And that green looks so good. Look at this, amazing. Okay. And there you go, that's one of our panna cottas all done and ready. And that's just how easy they are, and I swear they taste so delicious and they smell fantastic. They smell like a lovely sort of beach garden with the ocean somewhere close by, and there's coconut in the air, and then there's the passion fruit that just hits your nose, and I'm clearly very excited by this. I think you guys should try this. This is our coconut panna cotta with our passion fruit coulis, and of course with some lovely lime zest on top. And you need lime zest for this, not lemon, you need lime. You need that lovely green to pop with it. And I hope you guys try out this recipe because it is delicious. It's light, it's refreshing, it's super easy to make. I mean, how long did all of this take? But now I get to taste. And guys, if you've liked this video, please like, share, subscribe, and please try out the recipe and tell us what you think.